So already, just within a couple of hours of Bernie Sanders announcing that airwaves have been full, the blogs have been bloated with the hot takes of all of the issues that Bernie Sanders is going to face. And I would like to respond to some of them, although I know that it is irrelevant for me to do so because it will not convince anyone. There's so many zombie myths about Bernie Sanders, these accusations of him having a weakness in a certain area that when you show facts, statistical information that refutes it, doesn't really make much of a difference. And you could go back. We did a myth of American politics on the Bernie bro myth, and I still see that thrown around. And that's in fact one of the things that I want to start with, which it's not so much a criticism of Bernie Sanders that this idea of the Bernie bro is out there. Yes, it is intended to demean him and imply that he has some sort of fundamental structural issue with certain types of Americans, but more so on an individual level, it is meant to scare or shame anyone who would support Bernie Sanders. So very early on in Bernie Sanders' 2016 run, this idea of the Bernie bro came about. And the idea was that there is only one type of person that supports Bernie Sanders. This is a person who is young, who is white, who is male, probably a democratic socialist, and that is basically it. Now, I am sure that there are some people who use that term early on, that as his appeal started to grow and as people of all different types started to like him, they realized that that was no longer appropriate and stopped using the term. But many people, especially people in the media, political commentators on Twitter and things like that, continue to do so. And so I want to respond to that once again. The first issue, is he appealing only to men? Statistics would be surprised to find that out because apparently we showed this before, his approval rating is higher amongst women than it is amongst men. There's a lot more men that despise Bernie Sanders than women, but there's no Bernie Sis Meme that's going around, it's all the bros. Racial issues. Now, did Hillary Clinton get a higher share of, for instance, the African American vote in the 2016 election in the primaries? Yes, she did. Now, that when you break it down by age groups is much more of a thing of older African American voters preferred Hillary Clinton, younger African American voters supported Bernie Sanders, but there are more older voters than there are younger voters, so the overall numbers looked bad for him in that regard. But there are many, many people of various racial groups and religious groups and all of that support Bernie Sanders, and yet the bro thing continues. And so some people have pointed out that those people who use this term might not know that they are erasing millions of women and African Americans and Latinos and Jews and all sorts of people who don't fit the very narrowly defined idea of a Bernie Sanders supporter. But I will go farther, because we've had this information for a long time. It is no longer the case that the Bernie bro thing is an accidental erasure of these people. It is an intentional erasure of them. If you support Bernie Sanders and you are not a white male between the ages of 18 and 25 who believes in Medicare for all, they don't want you to count in this process. They don't want your opinions to be heard. You're inconvenient to the narrative that has been spun and will continue to be spun throughout the 2020 race. And so understand that if you support Bernie Sanders, it is likely that you will be attacked in that particular way, and by proxy, so will he as well.
Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.